The movie unfolds through the eyes of Sook-hee, a determined young woman on a mission. In a breathtaking display of agility and strength, she charges through a towering high-rise, confronting a horde of menacing gangsters at every turn. Her battle is unforgiving, a symphony of violence reverberating through each floor and chamber of the building. Having triumphed over numerous adversaries on the lower levels, Sook-hee finally reaches the zenith of her ascent. The grand chamber atop the edifice, a gymnasium reserved for the powerful mobsters. This room pulsates with an air of authority, where the high-ranking gangsters sculpt their menacing physiques. From the onset, the gangsters foolishly underestimated Sook-hee as she fearlessly launched her assault single-handedly. Little did they know that beneath her unassuming demeanor lay a fierce warrior armed with unparalleled combat techniques and a mastery of formidable weapons. Despite the odds stacked against her, Sook-hee emerged triumphant, leaving no gangster standing. In a climactic showdown, she deftly ensnared the final boss with a tightly wound rope, bringing him to his knees. With a leap of audacious bravery, she used the very rope to descend from the towering building. As Sook-hee touched down on the ground, a swarm of police descended upon her, surrounding her with an air of suspicion. The scene then shifted to the inner chambers of the South Korean intelligence agency, where a sense of urgency permeated the air. News had reached them that the nefarious Bab gangster group, known for their iron grip on the drug trade and formidable power, had been decimated in a single night by the unparalleled might of Sook-hee alone. The agency's high-ranking officials marveled at her unfathomable brutality, a force to be reckoned with. As the officials scrutinized the surveillance footage within the gangster's stronghold, their attention fixated on a mysterious man who stealthily infiltrated the premises, meticulously cataloging the illicit heroin supply. An inkling formed within them, connecting this man to Sook-hee. However, despite their suspicions, they couldn't deny the awe-inspiring prowess displayed by Sook-hee. A daring proposition emerged from the mind of a high-ranking intelligence official, a decision not to punish her, but instead harness her exceptional abilities as an asset in their relentless battle against crime in South Korea. Time passed, and Sook-hee's consciousness gradually returned, only to find herself confined within the confines of a stifling chamber. Overwhelmed by the peculiar mixture of gases lingering in the air, she succumbed once more, her senses dulled by the anesthesia. Unbeknownst to her, she was whisked away to an operating theater where Sook-hee's face would soon undergo a transformative surgical alteration. Emerging from the haze of surgery, Sook-hee found herself back in her familiar chamber, anesthetized to ensure her continued slumber. In the depths of her unconsciousness, vivid dreams of her past unfurled. She envisioned herself submerged in water, ensnared by bindings alongside other men. Bound by ropes and desperation, their salvation lay within the blades thrown into the depths by a man named Joong-sang. Those knives held the key to their escape, their freedom from the watery abyss. Driven by survival instinct, the men wielded the knives, hacking away at the entwining ropes that bound their legs, inching closer to resurfacing and securing their lives. Yet, in a fleeting moment, Joong-sang's discerning eyes caught sight of Sook-hee, her limp form floating motionless in the water. Reacting swiftly, he dove into the depths, his hands reaching out to rescue her from the clutches of unconsciousness. Administering necessary aid, Sook-hee's laughter soon erupted, revealing her ruse, a mere pretense of fainting. In the present moment, Sook-hee cunningly feigned unconsciousness while in the midst of a meal. Seizing the opportunity, she swiftly subdued the intruders who ventured into her chamber, her fists a blur of swift justice. Determined to break free from her confines, she navigated her way through the labyrinthine halls, stumbling upon an unlocked room where a group of young girls gracefully swayed in balletic harmony. Despite the chaos Sook-hee incited while being pursued, the girls' serene expressions remained undisturbed. Intrigued yet disoriented, she re-entered a room only to discover it was a bustling kitchen. As Sook-hee prepared to flee, a girl abruptly severed her leg, declaring Sook-hee as an eager newcomer to their ranks. Cornered and pressured, Sook-hee seized a kitchen knife and took one of her pursuers hostage. With desperation fueling her escape, she continued her frantic search, stumbling upon a theater room. Lost and bewildered, she yearned for a path to freedom. yet mistakenly ventured into the makeup room instead. The girls within stared at her in astonishment, intensifying Sook-hee's frustration. She bellowed, demanding directions to the exit. Finally, a woman named Kwon-suk emerged, guiding Sook-hee towards the elusive path out of confinement. As Sook-hee reached the pinnacle of the towering structure, accompanied by Kwon-suk, a harrowing decision was thrust upon her. Kwon-suk urged her to leap off the edge, a desperate bid to evade the relentless pursuers hot on their heels. In a deceptive twist, Kwon-suk herself leaped first, beckoning Sook-hee to follow suit. Yet, to Sook-hee's disbelief, this was a treacherous trap. In mid-air, Kwon-suk aimed her weapon and fired, striking Sook-hee mid-flight. Meanwhile, several officers kept a watchful eye on Sook-hee through the monitors, their admiration for her exceptional skills unwavering. Among them, Officer Hyun-soo felt a peculiar attraction towards Sook-hee. However, his comrades cautioned against pursuing a relationship with a female agent candidate, fearing the inherent dangers it posed to their collective safety. After a period of unconsciousness, Sook-hee awoke to the presence of Kwon-suk, who revealed herself as the director of the South Korean intelligence agency entrusted with training covert agents. Kwon-suk shared a newspaper article with Sook-hee, chronicling the alleged murder of the Bav gangster group by an unidentified woman, followed by the woman's to be dead in the fight. Unbeknownst to the world, the truth remained hidden. Sook-hee was the true perpetrator, and she still breathed with the pulse of life. Kwon-suk disclosed her audacious plan to stage Sook-hee's demise, offering her a fresh identity and a new existence. However, this respite came with a price. Sook-hee must embark on missions assigned by the agency and dedicate a decade of her life in their service. Furthermore, Kwon-suk unveiled the true nature of their surroundings, a secret headquarters housing the clandestine agency, answerable only to the South Korean government, tasked with pursuing criminals beyond the reach of ordinary law enforcement. Initially, Sook-hee vehemently resisted, determined to defy and break free from her captors. In a calculated move, Kwon-suk presented Sook-hee with a photograph that unveiled a startling truth: she was carrying a child within her womb. The revelation struck Sook-hee like a lightning bolt, leaving her in a state of profound shock. Kwon-suk reminded her that she now carried the responsibility of another life, urging Sook-hee to embrace her role as a mother. Reluctantly, Sook-hee acquiesced to Kwon-suk's proposition, embarking on a transformative journey as a secret agent for the South Korean agency. Each day became a whirlwind of diverse lessons and training. Sook-hee immersed herself in acquiring not only essential knowledge, but also practical skills, delving into the realms of culinary arts, the art of makeup, and the craft of acting. Amidst her new life, Sook-hee forged a deep bond with Min-yu, a warm-hearted companion who became her confidant. Their camaraderie flourished within the walls of the agency, where they shared laughter, tears, and a mutual determination to thrive. One fateful day, as Sook-hee practiced the art of makeup, a newly recruited girl entered the room, her desperate attempt to escape mirroring Sook-hee's own struggles upon arrival. It served as a stark reminder of the challenges they all faced within those walls. Time marched forward, weaving their lives closer together. Sook-hee and Min-yu honed their acting skills, striving for perfection upon the theater stage. In due course, Sook-hee experienced the miracle of motherhood, giving birth to a daughter named Yeon-hae within the very heart of the agency's headquarters. Yeon-hae's existence became a precious secret, shielded from the outside world. With unwavering love, Sook-hee vowed to protect her daughter at all costs. Unbeknownst to Sook-hee, Hyun-soo silently observed her every move, a hidden watcher in the shadows. He would occasionally venture into her room, ensuring the safety of little Yeon-hae whenever Sook-hee was absent. On a fateful day, tensions ignited between Sook-hee and a girl named Kim-soon during a rigorous sword training session. Kim-soon had harbored a deep-rooted disdain for Sook-hee since their first encounter. Ignoring the provocation, Sook-hee calmly exited the room, an action that further fueled Kim-soon's anger. Fueled by fury, Kim-soon swiftly attacked Sook-hee, seeking to settle the score. However, Sook-hee's resilience shone through as she stood her ground, refusing to yield. Determined, she engaged Kim-soon in a fierce battle, ultimately triumphing as she struck Kim Soon down with a wooden sword. As days turned into weeks, the unwavering support and encouragement from Ming-yu and her fellow agents touched Sook-hee's heart, stirring emotions long buried within her. And then the moment she had been waiting for arrived. Sook-hee received her inaugural mission. With unwavering determination, she made the difficult choice to erase the tattoo that marked her past, a sacrifice necessary to ensure the success of her mission. In the midst of her new life, Sook-hee's memories transported her back to a cherished moment from her childhood. She reminisced about a night spent camping by the river with her father, Sook-jin. Despite the absence of her mother, Sook-hee basked in her father's unconditional love. Sook-jin, eager to create cherished memories, invited his friend Joong-kai to join them, setting the stage for a joyful camping and fishing experience. Sook-jin and Joong-kai, both thieves and gangsters, shared a deep bond. Sook-jin proudly displayed a stolen jewel, a renowned gem of immense worth in South Korea. Entranced by its allure, he promised to pass it on to Sook-hee when she grew older, a cherished heirloom in the making. Tragically, the jewel became a harbinger of misfortune for Sook-hee's family. One fateful night, crouched beneath the safety of her bed, Sook-hee witnessed her father's life extinguished at the hands of ruthless assailants. Sook-jin, with a chilling smile, uttered his final farewell as his life slipped away. Shocked and grief-stricken, Sook-hee saw a figure enter her room, only to discover it was none other than Joong-kai. Unexpectedly thrust into a life of prostitution, Sook-hee's resilience propelled her towards escape, only to be ensnared once again by the elusive Joong-kai. Deep within her heart, she held suspicions that Joong-kai was the very person responsible for her father's demise. Fueled by a burning desire for vengeance, Sook-hee swore to one day exact her revenge upon him. In a twist of fate, Sook-hee found herself sold to a gangster plagued by despicable desires. However, fortune smiled upon her as an assassin swiftly dispatched the repugnant gangster boss. It was within this turning point that Sook-hee encountered Joong-sang, a renowned hitman in the South Korean underworld. Drawn to Sook-hee's audacity in wielding a firearm, Joong-sang saw potential in her. From that day forward, Sook-hee became a steadfast companion, following in the footsteps of the enigmatic hitman. On a fateful day, Joong-sang assigned Sook-hee a chilling task to eliminate a man standing before her. This man was a sworn adversary of Joong-sang's group. Explaining the rules, Joong-sang declared a grim competition. Both Sook-hee and the man had to swiftly assemble a gun and shoot their opponent. Survival was contingent on completing the task before the other. Yet despite Sook-hee's swift assembly, she hesitated to pull the trigger. Regrettably, the man met his demise at the hands of Joong-sang's lethal shot. As time passed, Sook-hee blossomed into a captivating teenager, her beauty matched only by her growing proximity to Joong-sang. In a poignant gesture, Joong-sang adorned Sook-hee's chest with a unique tattoo, symbolizing a bond beyond ordinary alliances. Emboldened by her affection, Sook-hee confessed her love for Joong-sang, longing to become his wife. She also revealed her burning desire for revenge against Joong-kai, the one responsible for her father's tragic end. Armed with information provided by Joong-sang, Sook-hee embarked on a relentless pursuit to locate Joong-kai. However, her determination led her straight into a treacherous trap, a desolate house deliberately luring her in. Instantly recognizing the peril she was in, Sook-hee found herself trapped and subjected to the sadistic torments inflicted by Joong-kai. With a twisted smile, he revealed the truth. Her father's death was orchestrated by someone else entirely. In fact, Joong-kai had merely come to the room to search for Sook-jin's gem after his demise. Desperate for answers, Sook-hee implored Joong-kai to reveal the identity of her father's killer. Yet, before Joong-kai could respond, a sudden voice reverberated within the room, jolting them both. Reacting swiftly, Joong-kai commanded one of his henchmen to investigate. However, their search ended in a grim twist, as Joong-kai's men were ruthlessly killed. As tension mounted, Joong-kai and his men stood poised for a confrontation, ready to fend off any intruder daring to disrupt their stronghold. To their surprise, the intruder was none other than Joong-sang, arriving with the sole intention of rescuing Sook-hee. In a fierce display of skill, Joong-sang swiftly dispatched each of Joong-ki's men, leaving only the two formidable adversaries to face each other. Joong-ki's astonishment was palpable as he beheld Joong-sang's face, realizing his own imminent demise at Joong-sang's hands. Returning to the present, Sook-hee and her fellow agents gathered for a weapons training class. While the others were still honing their skills, Sook-hee already possessed a profound expertise in wielding weapons. During a critical test, where speed and accuracy were paramount, Sook-hee swiftly assembled her gun, outpacing her competitor, Kim-soon, and skillfully fired, hitting her first. As Sook-hee embarked on her first mission under Kwon-sook's guidance, she received an enticing promise. If she accomplished the task successfully, she and her daughter would be granted freedom outside the confines of the base. However, she remained bound to serve the government secret service for a decade, with her every move monitored closely. The prospect of a life beyond the dormitory walls filled Sook-hee's heart with a mix of hope and apprehension. Under the cloak of darkness, Sook-hee arrived at a lavish mansion, her mission clear: to eliminate the Yakuza boss who had taken refuge in South Korea. Employing her stealth, she infiltrated the opulent residence, her steps shrouded in silence. Eventually, Sook-hee found herself face to face with the Yakuza boss, their confrontation exploding into a fierce and violent clash. With unwavering determination, Sook-hee emerged triumphant, successfully completing her inaugural mission. However, her triumph was short-lived as other Yakuza members discovered her presence, launching a relentless pursuit. Engulfed in a harrowing battle on the open road, Sook-hee clashed with the formidable Yakuza army. Despite the odds stacked against her, she exhibited unwavering resilience, fending off her adversaries while swiftly maneuvering on her bike. Determined to survive, Sook-hee's daring escape plan unfolded as she catapulted herself off the bridge, plunging into the depths below. Amidst the swirling waters, her father's face materialized in her mind, a haunting reminder of the tragic loss etched deep within her memory. With the dawn of a new day, Sook-hee bid farewell to Min-yu, bracing herself for the fresh start that awaited her beyond the agency's walls. She offered parting advice to her loyal friend, urging her to reach out should Min-yu find herself in need. Closing her eyes, Sook-hee entrusted her fate to Kwon-sook, who, in turn, bestowed upon her a forged identity document, granting her the chance to carve out a humble existence in a small apartment alongside her daughter. In an unexpected twist, Kwon-sook assigned Hyun-soo the task of surveilling Sook-hee. Seizing the opportunity, Hyun-soo orchestrated a chance encounter with Sook-hee inside the apartment elevator, deliberately bumping into her. Craftily, he slipped his photo into her cardboard box, concealed within their seemingly innocent collision. Attempting to establish a friendly rapport, Hyun-soo approached Sook-hee and Eun-hye with warmth and amiability. Yet, Sook-hee's suspicion lingered as she sensed Hyun-soo's presence shadowing her every move. Much to their surprise, they discovered that they were neighbors, dwelling in close proximity. Curiosity got the better of Hyun-soo, prompting him to inquire about Sook-hee's husband, perplexed by the notion of him leaving her to bear the burdens alone. However, his inquiry struck a nerve, causing offense. Sook-hee retaliated by revealing that her husband was on duty abroad, swiftly turning the tables with a question of her own asking, where was Hyun-soo's wife? In a somber admission, Hyun-soo disclosed the heartbreaking truth of his wife's passing 3 years prior. Overwhelmed with remorse, Sook-hee offered a sincere apology to Hyun-soo. Filled with lingering suspicion, Sook-hee retreated into her apartment, her doubts about Hyun-soo intensifying. Seeking answers, she reached out to Kwon-sook, inquiring about the background of her next-door neighbor. Unbeknownst to Sook-hee, it was a carefully orchestrated arrangement set in motion by Kwon-sook. In a subsequent encounter, Sook-hee confronted Hyun-soo, returning the photo he had inadvertently placed in her belongings. Curiosity piqued, she sought further clarification from Kwon-sook, who revealed a fabricated tale. Hyun-soo was an ordinary worker who had tragically lost his wife, a victim of a murder 3 years prior. All these fabrications were intricately woven to forge a bond between Sook-hee and Hyun-soo, exploiting her sympathy and drawing her closer to him. As days turned into weeks, Hyun-soo diligently carried out his mission to make Sook-hee he fall in love with him. He would go to great lengths, such as holding the bus just so Sook-hee could board. Their paths intertwined at the local supermarket, where Hyun-soo made a point of being there, eager to lend a helping hand with Sook-hee's shopping. Notably, he showed unwavering attention and care towards Eun-hye, Sook-hee's daughter. In a display of his genuine affection, Hyun-soo would patiently wait for the bus on rainy days, ensuring Sook-hee stayed dry under his sheltering umbrella. The accumulation of these romantic gestures and tender acts of kindness gradually melted Sook-hee's heart, eventually leading her to fall deeply in love. In addition to her covert role as a secret agent, Sook-hee embarked on a new endeavor as an actress in a theater. This newfound pursuit led her to develop a keen eye for fashion and style, as she aimed to captivate audiences with her performances. Eager to share her passion, Sook-hee extended an invitation to Hyun-soo, inviting him to witness her theatrical prowess. Their connection blossomed, culminating in intimate dinners and romantic outings. Unbeknownst to Sook-hee, every step of their relationship was orchestrated by Hyun-soo, acting under Kwon-suk's directives. Amidst these unfolding events, fragments of Sook-hee's past memories began resurfacing, evoking reminiscences of the time when she was engaged to Joong-sang. Joong-sang, once Sook-hee's beloved, had vowed to abandon his criminal life and embrace a normal existence by her side. However, fate took a treacherous turn when he left Sook-hee to attend to his imprisoned comrades, only to vanish without a trace. A devastating call shattered Sook-hee's world, delivering the heartbreaking news of Joong-sang's demise and the disfigurement of his face. As revelations unfolded, Sook-hee discovered from Joong-sang's loyal companion, Cha Liu, that Joong-sang had perished while pursuing her father's murderer. The brutal attack on the Bab gangster stronghold had been Sook-hee's act of retribution for the loss of Joong-sang. In this web of vengeance and tragedy, Sook-hee found purpose in avenging the death of her beloved. Returning to the present, a taxi ride became the stage for a gripping exchange between Sook-hee and Hyun-soo. Aware of the need for discretion, Hyun-soo urged Sook-hee to return home, cautioning against public exposure due to her marital status. In a moment of vulnerability, Sook-hee disclosed to Hyun-soo the truth about her deceased husband. Their hearts intertwined, and they shared a passionate kiss, surrendering to their desires. Sook-hee found herself falling deeply in love with Hyun-soo, unaware that he had been planted in her life by Kwon-suk. As their intimate moment unfolded, Sook-hee's phone interrupted their connection. It was Kwon-suk, entrusting her with a new mission. Sook-hee requested that Hyun-soo stay at her home and care for Eun-hye. Unexpectedly, Sook-hee encountered Ming-yu, whom revealed that their mission was to aid her in accomplishing a dangerous task. Disguised as waiters in an upscale restaurant, their target was a pair of individuals who held vital information about a notorious weapons trafficking organization sought by the government. In a grim turn of events, the men's intentions grew sinister as they intended to engage in non-consensual acts with Sook-hee and Ming-yu. However, Sook-hee devised a plan and skillfully slipped away to the bathroom, avoiding their clutches. In a stroke of luck, she seized one of the men's cell phones and swiftly extracted valuable data from it. Tragically, Sook-hee's covert actions were exposed, and upon her return, she found Ming-yu held captive by the two assailants. With Ming-yu's life hanging in the balance, the men demanded Sook-hee surrender her USB drive. Resourcefully, Sook-hee seized the opportunity to launch a counterattack, unleashing a fierce and relentless battle against her captors. Through sheer determination, Sook-hee and Ming-yu emerged victorious, triumphing over their assailants. However, just as Sook-hee was preparing to escape, one of the men sprang to his feet, wielding a menacing knife. In a desperate act of selflessness, Ming-yu shielded Sook-hee from the impending attack, becoming the tragic victim instead. In the midst of this turmoil, Kwon-suk arrived to collect them and demanded the USB drive. Unfortunately, the protected data couldn't be copied, forcing them to swiftly retreat to headquarters. Sook-hee pleaded for Ming-yu's immediate rescue and transport to the hospital, but Kwon-suk assigned blame to both of them for their lack of caution. Devastatingly, Ming-yu succumbed to her injuries before Sook-hee's eyes, her life cut short on her very first mission. With a heavy heart and shattered spirit, Sook-hee returned home to find Hyun-hye peacefully asleep on Hyun-soo's lap. Overwhelmed with grief, Sook-hee sought solace in the bathroom, shedding tears of anguish. Hyun-soo awoke and offered his comforting presence to console Sook-hee in her sorrow. Meanwhile, the crucial data from Sook-hee's USB drive had been successfully copied, unveiling classified information about an illicit arms dealer organization. To their surprise, among the files was a photograph of Cha Liu, Joong-sang's loyal right-hand man, and a notorious fugitive in South Korea. The higher-ups of the government secret service immediately tasked Sook-hee with eliminating both Cha Liu and his boss, recognizing the gravity of the situation. Simultaneously, Hyun-soo found himself deeply entangled in his role of approaching Sook-hee. His affection for Hyun-hye grew, and his love for Sook-hee intensified. He confessed his genuine feelings, only to be met with Sook-hee's guarded response, claiming that the person he saw wasn't the real her. In turn, Hyun-soo acknowledged that he too harbored secrets. Despite the uncertainties, he earnestly expressed his desire to marry Sook-hee, seeking her acceptance. Hyun-soo made it clear that he would stand by Sook-hee and Hyun-hye, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Touched by his unwavering commitment, Sook-hee decided to approach Kwon-suk and express her desire to marry. She explained that if anything were to happen to her during a mission, Hyun-hye would be left without anyone to care for her. Sook-hee confided in Kwon-suk, revealing that she had found a remarkable man. Upon hearing Sook-hee's heartfelt plea, Kwon-suk agreed to support her wedding arrangements and even offered to hire guests for the occasion. However, Kwon-suk also stressed the importance of staying focused on their mission, ensuring that Sook-hee could eventually return to a semblance of a normal life. Sook-hee wasted no time in contacting Hyun-soo, informing him of their upcoming marriage. Unbeknownst to Sook-hee, Hyun-soo received a call from her while he was in the company of Kwon-suk. With sincerity in his voice, Hyun-soo asked Sook-hee to make a promise to trust each other unconditionally, regardless of the challenges that lie ahead. As time passed, the long-awaited wedding day of Hyun-soo and Sook-hee finally arrived. Inside the bridal waiting room, Sook-hee was surprised by the unexpected presence of Kim-soon. Having completed her training at the agency, Kim-soon was now embarking on her first mission as a field agent. Sensing the urgency, she handed the phone to Sook-hee, as Kwon-suk wished to speak with her. To Sook-hee's astonishment, she received a new assignment on the date of her wedding. Kwon-suk swiftly directed her to the bathroom, where a disassembled rifle awaited her. In hushed tones, Kwon-suk instructed Sook-hee to position herself by the air vent and aim at her target in the adjacent building. However, as Sook-hee prepared to take the shot, her world was shattered by the sight of her target, Joong-sang, the man she believed to be deceased. Paralyzed by shock, her aim faltered, allowing Joong-sang to escape unharmed. Desperate for answers, Sook-hee confronted Kwon-suk, seeking clarification about the man who was meant to be her target. Yet Kwon-suk's response was evasive, leaving Sook-hee in the dark. As the wedding ceremony unfolded, Sook-hee's heart was heavy with the weight of past betrayals. Memories of infiltrating the Bab gangster's lair and the lies spun by Joong-sang flooded her mind. She realized she had been nothing more than a pawn in Joong-sang's manipulative game, despite her love for him. Thankfully, her wedding to Hyun-soo proceeded smoothly, providing a glimmer of hope. Meanwhile, Kwon-suk assigned Kim-soon to take over Sook-hee's failed mission and clean up the remnants of her equipment. In the following days, Joong-sang delved into the details of the shooting incident he had survived. Determined to uncover the truth, he traced the location of the shooting and investigated the events surrounding it. A photograph caught his eye, featuring a face that felt strangely familiar, Sook-hee. However, her altered appearance masked her identity from Joong-sang's associates. However, Joong-sang's connections within the criminal underworld granted him access to information about the paid guests and families involved in the wedding. He began investigating the backgrounds of the bride and groom, even attending one of Sook-hee's theater performances. In a later scene, Sook-hee and Hyun-soo enjoyed a quiet dinner together when Hyun-soo excused himself to take a phone call. Seizing the opportunity, Joong-sang approached Sook-hee and subtly tested her recognition of him. Sook-hee, determined to maintain her facade, pretended not to know him. Joong-sang, unable to shake his feelings, remarked on her striking resemblance to his late wife. He firmly asserted that Joong-sang had mistaken her for someone else, as she had moved on after her husband's death and chosen a new path as a theater actress, only to have her past abruptly resurface to disrupt her life. Sook-hee made it clear that she would not hesitate to protect her current family, even if it meant killing her ex-husband once again. Despite their knowledge of each other's identities, Joong-sang dismissed the notion, suggesting that Sook-hee might simply resemble someone else. However, a lingering uncertainty remained between them. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Hyun-soo, he engaged in a conversation with Kwon-suk in the bathroom, discussing Sook-hee's failed mission to assassinate Joong-sang. Unbeknownst to them, Cha-liu secretly recorded their conversation, inadvertently revealing the true identities of Sook-hee and Hyun-soo. In a subsequent encounter, Sook-hee met with Kwon-suk, who expressed disappointment in her mission failure and emphasized the need for improvement. Suspicion clouded their conversation as Kwon-suk questioned Sook-hee's interaction with her target. Defending herself, Sook-hee claimed that Joong-sang was merely a devoted fan from her theater days, urging Kwon-suk not to doubt her loyalty. Before parting ways, Kwon-suk issued a stark reminder that further failures would jeopardize the safety of Sook-hee's loved ones. Meanwhile, Hyun-soo delved into the background of Sook-hee and her late father. To his surprise, he unearthed a compelling revelation. The individual responsible for her father's demise belonged to the same organization as Sook-hee herself, Joong-sang. After some time had passed, Sook-hee received an unexpected envelope from a mysterious fan. Inside, she discovered a memory card that piqued her curiosity. Determined to uncover its contents, she devised a clever plan to elude the watchful eyes of the agency's surveillance. Slipping away from their monitoring, she hurried to a nearby PC rental to access the memory card's contents. To her shock, she stumbled upon a recording revealing Hyun-soo's conversation with Kwon-suk. In a twist of fate, Sook-hee learned that Hyun-soo was not just a man she had fallen in love with and married, but also a secret agent working for the same agency she served. The revelation shattered her heart, leaving her grappling with the truth she never expected to uncover. In a cruel twist of fate, Kim-soon's confidence in accomplishing her mission was shattered when she found herself surrounded and overpowered by Cha-liu and his well-prepared men. Helpless, she was captured and held captive. To make matters worse, Joong-sang had discovered the secret camera she had been using, exposing her intentions. Meanwhile, Sook-hee fell into the clutches of Kwon-suk, who had deemed her suspicious due to her recent behavior. The truth slowly unfolded as Kwon-suk revealed her true intentions, accusing Sook-hee of betrayal for targeting her ex-husband, Joong-sang. This revelation fueled Sook-hee's anger, especially upon learning that Hyun-soo was actually Kwon-suk's ally. In the midst of the chaos, Hyun-soo urgently contacted Kwon-suk to inquire about Sook-hee's whereabouts, confident that she had fallen into Kwon-suk's trap. In a shocking turn of events, Kwon-suk revealed her true intentions to Hyun-soo. Sook-hee would be transferred to another facility and detained, separating her from her daughter. However, before they could proceed, their car came under attack from Joong-sang's men. Seizing the opportunity, Sook-hee managed to escape to her apartment with the intention of fleeing with her daughter. Tragically, an explosion ripped through her apartment, shattering her plans and threatening their lives. Meanwhile, Hyun-soo stumbled and fell while trying to protect Eun-hye. In a devastating blow, Eun-hye lost her life, leaving Hyun-soo mortally wounded. In his final moments, he mustered the strength to apologize to Sook-hee, confessing the truth he had concealed from her all along. Consumed by grief and rage, Sook-hee confronted Kwon-suk with a gun in hand, accusing her of orchestrating the bomb explosion that took Eun-hye's life. Kwon-suk, however, revealed the shocking truth by showing Sook-hee the footage from inside her apartment. It depicted the horrifying scene of Cha-liu and his men ambushing Hyun-soo upon his return, while Kim-soon was held captive. Amidst the brutal assault on Hyun-soo, he made a heart-wrenching confession to Sook-hee. She had been a mere pawn in their revenge scheme. Cha-liu disclosed that Joong-sang had never truly loved Sook-hee, and their marriage had been nothing more than a means to exploit her skills. To their dismay, Sook-hee had survived the ambush on the Bab gangsters, defying Joong-sang's plan for her demise. Upon learning that Eun-hye was actually Joong-sang's daughter, a result of Sook-hee's pregnancy during her time at the agency, Hyun-soo desperately tried to convince Cha-liu of the truth. He knew that Joong-sang's ruthless nature would spare no one associated with Sook-hee. However, Joong-sang, overhearing their conversation, dismissed Hyun-soo's words and vowed to eliminate anyone connected to Sook-hee. Given a glimmer of hope, Hyun-soo engaged in a high-stakes fight against Cha-liu. The outcome would determine Eun-hye's safety. But in a cruel twist, Cha-liu and his cohorts resorted to cheating, robbing Hyun-soo of his rightful victory. As the bomb that Kim Soon had assembled neared completion, she was callously shot by Cha-liu. As the bomb's timer ticked down, Cha-liu and his men eagerly observed from the neighboring apartment, awaiting Sook-hee's arrival. But just as the explosive was about to go off, Hyun-soo regained consciousness and sprang into action. With little time to spare, he grabbed Eun-hye and leaped out of the window, narrowly escaping the deadly blast. In the aftermath, Kwon-suk acknowledged the depth of Hyun-soo's love for Sook-hee. Hyun-soo had pleaded with Kwon-suk, vowing that once their mission to eliminate Joong-sang was accomplished, he would whisk Sook-hee and Eun-hye away from South Korea. He couldn't bear the thought of Sook-hee living her life as an assassin. Inspired by this unwavering devotion, Sook-hee made up her mind to seek vengeance against Joong-sang and his gang. In a dramatic turn of events, Sook-hee found herself in close proximity to Joong-sang's fortified headquarters. With unwavering determination, she carefully observed the surroundings, spotting Cha-liu, who held her late father's precious jewel. Fueled by her burning desire for answers and justice, Sook-hee swiftly accelerated her car, crashing through the gates of the formidable compound. Chaos erupted as Cha-liu ordered his men to open fire, attempting to halt her daring intrusion. Sook-hee fearlessly engaged in a fierce and brutal battle against Joong-sang's henchmen, displaying her formidable skills. Despite the relentless opposition, she emerged triumphant, ultimately defeating Cha-liu, who had tried to escape. Finally face to face with Joong-sang, Sook-hee confronted him, demanding an explanation for the presence of her father's jewels in Cha-liu's possession and the motive behind their marriage. The shocking revelation came as Joong-sang admitted to being her father's murderer, exposing the sinister truth that Joong-kai had only visited Sook-hee's room after her father's demise. Unbeknownst to Sook-hee, Joong-sang cruelly mocked her, labeling her a naive fool for always trusting what she saw at face value. Overwhelmed by emotions, Sook-hee's heartache spilled forth as tears streamed down her face. She implored Joong-sang to reveal the depths of his cruelty, questioning how he could inflict such pain upon her. In response, Joong-sang callously admitted to exploiting Sook-hee's vulnerable circumstances for his own gain. Driven by a mix of anger, frustration, and anguish, Sook-hee forcefully discarded her gun, opting instead to wield a sword against Joong-sang. The clash between the two adversaries intensified, their battle reaching a crescendo atop the building. However, amidst their ferocious combat, fate intervened, causing them to tumble from the rooftop. Seizing the opportunity, Joong-sang's loyal men swiftly whisked him away, commandeering a bus to make their escape before the approaching police arrived. Determined and fueled by sheer willpower, Sook-hee refused to relent in her pursuit of Joong-sang. Despite her battered body, she commandeered a car, shattering its windshield, and climbed atop the hood. With a daring leap, she managed to board the hijacked bus, where Joong-sang had taken refuge, ready to eliminate his henchmen, one by one in her relentless quest for vengeance. As the police gave chase to the bus, the brutal confrontation between Sook-hee and Joong-sang raged on. Engaged in a life-or-death struggle, Sook-hee found herself cornered by Joong-sang's relentless onslaught. Summoning every ounce of strength, she retaliated by slicing the bus driver's hand, causing the vehicle to careen out of control and overturn. The catastrophic crash left Joong-sang gravely wounded while Sook-hee, though bruised, managed to rise to her feet and advance towards him. In a bittersweet moment of hesitation, memories of their shared past flooded Sook-hee's mind. However, the weight of her anguish fueled her resolve, ultimately leading her to end Joong-sang's life, the man she had once loved. Stepping out of the wreckage, she wore a grim smile, facing the encircling police who bore witness to the culmination of her harrowing journey. Moral lesson from the story is, seeking revenge and perpetuating violence only leads to destruction and loss. By choosing forgiveness and letting go of the desire for revenge, we can find healing, redemption, and the possibility of a better future.